Let's explore the concept of human autonomy, a very important component of what we consider to be part of our humanity. We feel innately that we have free will, that the decisions we make are entirely ours. But this sensation of control is similar to how people once felt that the sun revolved around the earth. The geocentric model dominated much of human history until the 16th century, when Copernicus proposed, and later Galileo confirmed, that the earth revolves around the sun. Because his ideas shattered humanity's collective ego, Galileo was found vehemently suspect of heresy and was sentenced to house arrest, isolated from society for the rest of his life. In much the same way, neuroscientists like Robert Sapolsky and Steven Pinker are now challenging our deeply held belief in free will, in our autonomy. They argue that our behaviors, choices, and decisions, which we value so highly, are actually influenced by a multitude of variables. These factors, while very complex, are becoming more discernible through the work of behavioral scientists such as Pinker, Sapolsky, and many others. As we learn more, we realize that many of our decisions are not as free as they feel. And then comes AI with automation, impinging on our autonomy even further. It claims that it can do an even better job in decision-making and managing the aspects of our lives that we consider uniquely human. Naturally, our human reaction is skepticism, and we feel the strong urge to burn it at the stake. Even The Simpsons predicted it. Back in a 1998 episode, Homer, an employee at a nuclear power plant, had a repetitive task. He only needed to press the Y key on his computer over and over again. Tired of this mundane work, he found a way to automate it by using a simple machine, a drinking bird toy, to press the key for him. However, despite the simplicity of the task, the device eventually failed because the wind from an open window knocked it over, causing chaos at the nuclear plant and the entire town. This perfectly reflects our anxiety about over-reliance on machines, even for seemingly simple tasks, and the necessity of the superior human supervision of these machines. However, when we step back and analyze things more objectively, we realize that everything carries some intrinsic risk, whether it's human decision-making, AI, or even something as simple as the toy Homer Simpson used. Risk isn't a novel concept. Experts in fields like economics and engineering have developed mathematical models to describe and calculate the risks that we encounter in everyday life, showing that unpredictability is always present, no matter the system. This model works by combining two main factors: the probability of an event happening which for our interests is failure to do a job, and the potential consequences if it does. The risk is considered higher if humanity goes extinct and our planet collapses versus getting a bad grade in school when AI hallucinates and gives you the wrong answer for your assignment. We are quick to criticize AI when it falls short. For all its advancements, we often find ourselves zeroing in on its failures when it misinterprets information, makes flawed predictions, or simply doesn't perform as expected. These failures fuel our mistrust and reinforce the belief that humans are superior. But let's take a closer look at human intelligence in our autonomous decision-making. Humans, despite our best wishes of doing things right, are influenced by various factors such as stress, fatigue, cognitive overload, emotional biases, and many more that we are gradually discovering, all of which can significantly impact our desired performance. Here, I've arbitrarily assigned percentages of about 1% for AI failure and about 5% for human failure, purely for illustration purposes. But backed by objective research, such as the To Err is Human report, published by the Institute of Medicine in 1999, which highlighted the widespread issue of preventable medical errors in the U.S. healthcare system. It estimated that medical errors were responsible for almost 100,000 deaths annually in hospitals. Thus, knowing that our human nature is quite prone to mistakes, is it even ethical to offer only the human version of a product or intervention? This is where we ask math to help us make a more rational decision. The solution lies in the beauty of teamwork and collaboration, just as it is not a coincidence that we are currently asked by our professor to work in teams because human society has discovered the power of adding our strengths to compensate for our individual weaknesses. When we combine artificial and human intelligence, the arbitrary numbers that we assign for the failures of each show us that the probability of both failing at the same time decreases when working together. And it's not just about working with AI and machines. We can learn from other successful industries, such as aeronautics, who have achieved what is called a 6 sigma level of error, which is quite a small number. They use different layers of redundancy, not just one human pilot, but at least 2. No reliance on human memory, but on objective checklists. Strong emphasis on human factors such as limiting work hours to decrease fatigue, and so on and so forth. When the impact of an event is high, we need lots of layers to decrease the probability of it happening. And then when we join forces, something fascinating happens. In mathematical language, we use the expression, "the whole is greater than the sum of its parts." We can make this concept more tangible by comparing the very autonomous unicellular organisms who manage their functions. Themselves, from finding food, water, reproducing, they are in charge and responsible for it all. Their survival depends on the behavior and choices of that one particular cell. In contrast, the multicellular organism is a community of individual cells that are highly specialized to contribute their specific talents to the organism as a whole. Each one is important, but if one fails, there is redundancy that keeps the community going, and not only going, feeling, daydreaming, and even pondering on its own existence. Truly, impressive functions arise in the whole that are indeed greater than the sum of its parts. We are yet to see what phenomena will emerge as we sum our individual human abilities with the machines. But I'm sorry to burst the bubble of inspiration. There is no such thing as free lunch, and just as the cells in the multicellular organism largely lost their autonomy and are not likely to survive without the whole organism, we might face the same destiny. Movies such as The Matrix and Wall-E artfully show us previews of what could be when we delegate our tasks to machines. And not just science fiction movies, astronauts face that problem when the hardship of gravity that they had to endure on Earth disappear in space. It doesn't take long for their muscles to atrophy and for their bodies to adapt to this new environment. It's actually not a bad thing. We call it adaptability, however. Troubles arise when they have to go back to the harsh environment of gravity and do all the heavy lifting themselves. That's why, as a society, we advocate for resiliency. The ability to navigate well in a machine-human partnership, but also retain our skills for autonomy somehow, in case, if our artificial partner fails and we find ourselves on our own again. And from a different point, perhaps there are tasks that we would like to retain as purely human, for the mere joy of doing them. Art is the first thing that comes to mind, but then comes DAL-E. Sports, the joy of achievement with your own body, must be important to us. And then someone designs Golf-E. Exploration. Despite lots of good rovers, we do aim to set foot on Mars ourselves. Despite our curiosity for what DAL-E can do, Doing art ourselves is still healing for our biological mind. And despite knowing that golfie is much better at putting, I still go to practice golf for the personal feeling of conquering a challenge and achieving an improvement. In conclusion, the integration of AI into various aspects of life offers us remarkable efficiency and precision. Yet it also presents a tension between human autonomy and reliance on machines. As we move forward, we must strike a balance between harnessing AI's capabilities and maintaining our human essence. While machines may outperform us in specific tasks, there remains something uniquely fulfilling in activities that require personal effort, creativity, and the joy of achievement. This balance will allow us to not only embrace technological advancements, but also preserve those aspects of our humanity that bring meaning, satisfaction, and resilience to our lives.